officially. So welcome to the Mentoring Stewards call. It's July 15th, 2020. And it's always good to see you. We're having a small gathering today. I'm sure there will be others joining us as the minutes tick on here. So welcome. We'll begin this morning with some resonance, and I'm going to turn it over to John Brockett.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Hey, welcome, everyone. Good to see everyone's beautiful face. So let's kind of get connected here with this resonant field, with this unified energy of love. You can keep your eyes closed or stay open, whatever is comfortable for you. Taking a nice deep breath, filling your body, your lungs, expanding your chest and your belly. Exhaling, breathing in again. And be aware that wherever you're sitting or standing or lying down, just have that direct experience of being connected to Mother Earth. The spirit, the soul in each one of us, embodied in this body, is the body of our great mother. The air that we're taking in every time we breathe in, we're breathing in the life force, the energy of love, the wisdom of the master plan, and the higher frequency of all things being connected. All of us, all of our brothers and sisters, breathing in the same air, vibrating with the same love. And grounding that in to this human experience. Expanding and exploring our heart space together. As if each of us has accepted the challenges of being on a mission to hold this incredible vibrational gift. And with every out breath, sharing that into the larger field, holding all of our brothers and sisters, nurturing and giving back to our great Mother Earth, and reflecting with the clarity of our being back to the source of all life. And all of this takes place through the sharing of the energy of love. And we're here to mentor and to steward the mystery of this experience that we've been afforded on planet Earth. So now we have the opportunity to share with each other, deepen, expand, reflect, amplify this direct experience of love, wisdom, and information to carry us to the next higher vibration. And with great gratitude, resting in silence for a moment, and loving ourselves in our heart space and all others. So be it.
That's beautiful, John. Thank you. So many beautiful pieces of threads of words that came through poetically this morning. And I'm going to repeat one in a minute because it was gorgeous. So welcome. We have a few guests with us today. If this is your first time on our Mentoring Steward call, I'm going to invite you to just introduce yourself and share where you're from, and just in a minute or less, what's calling you here today. So just giving you each a minute if this is your first time joining us. Just unmute yourself and jump in. And I was not here last week. So if you were here last week and it was your first time last week, let me know.
And the week before. So everyone here, I believe, has.
It was a public call. The week before was a public call. So if this is your first private Mentoring Stewards call, jump in, not a public call.
I'll jump in, Callie from England. It's actually my 5th call, but there's never quite the same people and we're all in one field. So I'll just jump in again to say synchronicity helped me find this spot, which I've been really attracted to. And and apparently this is a very English word, I've been lurking for 5 weeks now. Lurking in the field, which is the most wonderful place, and bonding separately with several of you, and feel moved when I know more to see what gifts I could bring for the good of the whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. We all kind of know each other here because we've been in the field together for so long. Okay, anyone else that I've missed?
Hello, my name's Claudia. I'm in Ontario, Canada. I've been joining the connection field for probably about a month now, so this is my first stewarding mentorship private call. And again, I kind of like Callie's synchronicity. I'm wanting to network and see where I can support and be supported, and the resonance of the field resonates with me. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good morning, Julie. I don't know that we met. I'm Iya Chihira from St. Croix, Virgin Islands. And I believe this is my 2nd time on call, although I've been out there in different parts of I answered the call, public call, and this is my 2nd on the private call. And exploring where I might serve best in the Connect field, and bringing my voice and whatever I bring, the gift of my years and wisdom on this planet, and working in this field for over 40 years. I'm working towards it. So yeah, bringing myself into alignment with that. Thank you. And finding my way. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Anyone else? Thank you. Your introductions defined Mentoring Stewards. Your introductions are a beautiful testament to what is a mentoring steward. We come together because of that synchronicity, because of the field and the resonance pulls us in to mentor for that field and be mentored by that field. And so we come together, and we've called it co-mentoring. And over the years, that's kind of confused a few people. What is co-mentoring? But here we are as a part of the whole, really one voice as mentoring stewards. We're one voice coming through as the field and co-mentoring it together. So it's a beautiful thing. Thank you all for coming in and joining us. We're going to talk a little bit, see if there's updates from the connection field. Then we're going to see we've been working. There's a few new updates for mentoring stewards and what's happening with the mentoring stewards. And then we will break out into smaller coherent circles and spend a little bit of time together more intimately in conversation. So I'm going to check in with Shelley first. If you want to give us a report on the connection field, if there's anything that needs to be brought to the greater whole here.
Hey everyone, so beautiful to be in this space with you. It's just continuing as this organism expands, and I think John was saying this, that all this takes place through sharing the energy of love. It's like deepening into the resonance. So the connection field calendar is shifting up. So just really invite you to stay attuned to the digest, which will be changing because with beautiful Jess and Julie's help, all your bios are pretty much up there. We need to move them around. We have pages, there are links, and hopefully by the end of this weekend, things will be linked up live and people can discover these different special offerings. And what seems to be happening on Saturday is really an opportunity for going deeper and being more playful, and poetry, music, and dance on Saturday seems to be the opening way, and Sunday seems to be sort of enveloping into more of a sacred soul Sunday. So be aware that things are shifting there, and also that we begin, many of you have really, like Callie was saying, like a feeling there, wish to offer more special offerings, and we're beginning our educational aspect of Good of the Whole. So starting on July 22nd with Jose, we'll be having a 12-week course, beautiful, amazing, standing in your sacred authority, leading the change through the ancient Mayan cosmology. So these are, and then in Good of the Whole, we've been talking about bringing also resonant leadership forward, and Julie will be talking more. So this is all beginning. So to know that this reciprocity in which that we've always held in the connection field is happening, not just the heart exchange, but also financially too, that we are working towards creating this beautiful exchange through this currency where everyone is, yes, valued, connected, and whole, and really, like Julie was saying, supported in all ways. So we're looking at that and we're heading into that. So just wanted you to know. So I think that's it for right now that I can think of. Thanks.
Thanks, Shelley. So I'll just give a brief synopsis of what's moving with mentoring stewards and the organization as a whole, a little update, and then invite the other executive leadership council people to participate. And that's a new term for you all. So let me turn off my dinger. Sorry, I apologize for that. So what you've heard us call the advisory council for a very, very, very long time, as we move toward really getting our legs under the 501c3 and moving into a place to do fundraising for projects and administrative support, so we can remunerate those who are spending countless hours bringing the connection field and other offerings for you. We're shifting the leadership model a bit to help donors and funders and other people be able to find us and go, where does the buck stop? How does this organization work? And it's really been a challenge because we've held Good of the Whole as an organism, as a living, breathing, and developing organism that's growing and expanding for so long. And then we have to put it into form and structure in the three-dimensional world in the way that all of those old forms really don't fit the vision of moving forward, where no one owns Good of the Whole and everyone owns Good of the Whole, and really living by that vitality code where everyone gets precisely what they need within the human body. If we're all organs and cells within the human body, we're getting what we need to do our function. So what you just heard me say was we have a leadership team which consists of the board and what used to be called the advisory council, who are now our Executive Leadership Council. And then we'll have a larger leadership council that will be coming on board. If you're feeling a nudge to get more involved, there are specific roles that we have within the organism, and we'll be looking at that and breathing into it and listening to the field to say who wants to fill those positions, not feel them, but feel them too, and step into that place. And so that's a new term. And with that, over the last couple of weeks, you've noticed John and Shelley have created a spot right on the connection field for mentoring stewards. And it's a beautiful time for those who are thinking about becoming a mentoring steward to really feel into it. And I'm gonna just let John, Shelley, if you guys want to give a brief report of that hour on the connection field so people can share that out with others. Want to speak to it?
Yeah, sure. I'll just say just a couple things. You know, I always start, and I'm privileged to be part of that hour because people really are curious. I was really curious. What is a mentoring steward? And it's really a way to plug in one's specific, unique gifts and talents for the good of the whole. And, you know, I kind of look at it as a time to really deepen in a mind-heart connection around, because everyone that's here, and there's no doubt, and people that are interested feel something in their hearts about the resonance, the unified field, the love that's needed. And every single person has a unique set of gifts and talents that they can intertwine with bringing this to a larger context. And so on Tuesday mornings, when we have our mentoring steward, we explore some of that. We really listen to those who are bringing something or wondering what you can bring, and then how that fits in with, like Julia was saying, into our larger organization. You know, I look at it, I'm kind of I've been a builder, remodeler, and when I go in to do a remodeling project, the first thing is the idea, the concept. People go, wow, we'd love to have this. We all have that. Wow, we would love to have this. We would love to see peace on the earth. Mentoring steward is a way to manifest that and put all the pieces together. And in the building trade, whether you're an electrician, a plumber, a drywaller, a carpenter, whatever, everybody has unique gifts and talents. Mentoring stewards, our task and our love is to support you as a mentoring steward on how to bring in your love, your imagination, and your basic core gifts and talents for the good of the whole. And so we do that on Tuesday morning, and things get more clear. And so really invite you to be part of that if you possibly can. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, John. So the unique thing, I'll just share a piece, and then Shelley, just give me a heads up. Did you have some forms or something else you wanted to share with everyone during this time today? I know you were trying to work on them. And
I just want to add to what John was saying, because it's that, and in terms of forms, that actually that also that call is really to deepen into resonance and understanding how resonance is holding the field together, and that what's evolved is really a protocol for mentoring stewards coming in, that it is this wonder space of discovering your unique talents and gifts, and but specifically it's an orientation, and it is sort of a requirement for mentoring stewards, for people. It's a place to bring in people that you love, that are getting excited and feeling that enthusiasm to actually learn the pathway of becoming a mentoring steward and what that would mean to them, and understanding literally how each one of you, for who are new, how you can become a more, how would you say it, a keeper of the field of your, how to really weave the wisdom of resonance. And that's really the reason everyone's having that experience here, is because there's many of us that have held that container. We're building a container, that building the coherence, yes, but we're building a container together that others can feel what you have felt. And so it is an art. It is an art, and it is a skill. And so I want to just be really clear that this call is more of an orientation, and you can come in as many times as you want, but also it's to really understand and ask your questions about, well, what is resonance, and why is it so important? And so in relation to what Julie was just saying, there are about 4 documents that are ready to go and will probably go out tomorrow. And if you're listed on the Mentoring Stewards email, so you want to make sure, and if you're not, Ia and Callie we'll talk more, but that you get that email so that you'll have those docs and you can go into the Facebook workspace groups and be a part of that. So that's where we, during the week connect and build this field together, really. And the main thing is focused on a whole worldview. That's the difference, because there's lots of people out there that have amazing gifts and but some of them are about motivational this and, but here, the reason you're having this experience is because we have been really heartfully focused on this, cultivating this ethos of wholeness. And so that's really important inside of that call to understand that. Yeah.
Thank you, Shelley. And what time's that call on the Connection Field? Tuesdays at?
11 to 12.
11 a.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
Thank you. Somebody wrote that in the chat. So Shelley brought up an important point that leads right to my next piece that I want to drop in before we go into our breakouts, is that I'll say what Shelley said. One of the most important things that really differentiates the whole is that resonance. And the second part is that ethos of wholeness, that we're whole, what that really is, and how that literally can create the healing on our planet and create peace and justice on our planet. It's creating our culture to move into wholeness. So I just want to share a graphic with you, and then we're going to move into our breakouts. But I just want to screen share for a second and share that ethos of wholeness with you.
Julie, can you ask Nahi to put herself on mute or mute her? I think that's the...
I have to go back, Naheed. I'm going to go back and do that for her. There we go. Thank you, Shelley. And screen share again. Okay, so this graphic just gives us, sorry for the blurry, it's blown up way bigger than it's intended to and was created for. But I just want to go back into what Shelley was saying. And if you look at the very center of this diagram, you'll see the experience of wholeness. And Good of the Whole really is about that inherent, innate capacity of unitive wholeness, of really feeling into who we are as whole beings in service of a greater whole. And so that experience is at the center of everything we do here at Good of the Whole, and who we be as mentoring stewards of this field. It's bringing in that resonance, living the resonance, living the field, allowing the field to live through us, allowing that impulse of evolution, the impulse of creation to inform all of our thinking, being, doing, our thoughts, words, and deeds. So it all begins in the center with that experience of our innate unitive wholeness. And then if we look at the leaves that come out of that, we begin to embody that experience. We embody that wholeness. We bring it in, and we begin to express it and engage in the world around us with that. So you're seeing the petals coming out. We experience, we embody, we express, we engage with the world around us. And what is the result of that? Number one, at the bottom, on a personal, local level, we begin to live for the good of the whole. We become those mentoring stewards of the field that's living for the good of the whole, that really understands our wholeness is not just mind, body, spirit, but it's our direct relationship with the cosmos. It's our direct relationship with our planet, with the earth. It's our direct relationship with one another and all of the inhabitants in this realm, as well as others. So it really is stepping forward in life, living for the good of the whole. And then as we move toward global, we're looking at really creating whole systems health, that we come from this ethos. We began to see all the systems and structures that are not serving our highest good. They're not living for the good of the whole. The systems and structures that were created on the planet were literally created in a consciousness of separation that served us for a couple hundred years, and now they're not working anymore. And so we're really here to help by living this into being, by embodying, engaging the whole worldview and the experience of wholeness. We began co-creating those whole systems transformation and healing, and we become a part of it naturally and innately.
We'll just go the opposite direction.
I'm to ask you to put yourself on mute. I can't see who that is in this moment. But then we move toward the cosmic part of this trinity of wholeness, which really is cultivating a whole worldview. By expressing and engaging the world around us, we become the voice of the whole. We become the voice of this resonant field that is teaching and mentoring and creating and waking others to the truth of who we be as one unitive whole, one unitive cosmic whole. So whole worldview, whole cosmic view. So I just wanted to bring this in because it just follows right up on what Shelley was saying. Thank you, Shelley, for that beautiful introduction. And then we're going to break out and into small groups here in a second. Shelley, I need to make you a co-host so you can do that for us. And if you have any questions or comments or reactions to what we just shared, save that for your small group as well and write some notes. What I'm going to do is invite you all to go into a small group, appoint a scribe, someone who can take good notes from the conversation and then bring them back into the whole. And I'm going to read you a quote and then give a question to take into that field as the expression of this resonant field. I love this quote. I was meditating on it earlier this morning. And it comes from Viktor Frankl, who, as most of you know, wrote Man's Search for Meaning. And he wrote, "We need to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead to think of ourselves as those who are being questioned by life, daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and in right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the task which it constantly sets for each individual. These tasks, and therefore the meaning of life, differ from person to person and from moment to moment." And if we take that quote, and I love this phrase, we are being questioned by life. It goes right into what we talk about here at Good of the Whole, and especially within the mentoring stewards, that we are the expression of life itself. We're the expression of wholeness. We are the expression of that impulse of creation, that impulse of evolution that's creating and co-creating through us in every moment. So the meaning in life comes not from searching for some big question out there and trying to find the answer, that really we're living the meaning into being. And I just want to overlay that idea with this idea of the ethos of wholeness, of really healing these wounds of separation, healing who we've been as separate selves and coming into our wholeness and living life into being through our wholeness, through this resonant field that's mentoring us and teaching us and informing us in every step. So when we become responsive to that, we're literally living the meaning of life into being. So I want us to take this question into our small groups, which is, what is the question life is living through me? Sounds like a question Oriana's asked herself way back too. I remember her speaking that so many times. What is the question that life is living through me? And that's a lot. So let's just sit with that, breathe into that. If someone wants to just remind us to come into resonance in the small group, assign a scribe, and we'll take about 20 minutes in our small groups. Shelley, do you want to add anything to that?
No, but you have to make me a host in order to
I did.
break out group. No, you made me a co-host.
Oh, I made you the co-host. Let's make you a host. Maybe that's why I keep getting kicked out, is you're still the host in some way. Okay. You are now the host. So. And then there's silence. There we go. See you all back here in 20 minutes. Grace. Grace, I'm missing you.
I'm missing you too. I've been thinking about you. You've been definitely on in my heart. So I would love to connect.
Let's do that.
Personally, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like 2 minutes from home, so I'm driving, but I'm 2 minutes from home. But I'll be on the call. I'll be in person in about, give me 2-3 minutes. Excellent. I'll be here.
All righty. And then there's Karen. Hello, Karen.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have a small group this morning. Good morning, Karen. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there. I've been kind of challenged lately, but other than that, I'm still here and I'm still good.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're still here and you're still good. And about life inviting you into the meaning, right?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I said those challenges must be life inviting you into the experience of the meaning.
Yeah, I suppose so. Let's get things going here.
So Karen, do you think you'll have enough bandwidth to stay on? Do you want to be the scribe since Grace is driving?
Okay, I'm not usually very good at that, but I will give it a go.
Okay, well, I would be happy to too, but you're good. And you want to give it?
How about we both do it, and then we can see who's better at explaining what we say.
Well, it's not about who's better. It's just about communicating that and bringing that forward. So, okay. So, who wants to go first? What is life? What is the question life is living through you? I ask these and then I don't think about it ahead of time. So now I got to think. But who wants to go first?
I was having trouble understanding how the way it's worded. I have a hard time understanding where you're going with this.
Okay.
So I was going to wait and see how everybody else responded. So I'd have more clarity.
What is?
Well, I'm in the driveway right now, so give me about a minute to get upstairs, and I'll.
And you'll start.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, go ahead, Julie. Go ahead. You go and start.
Well, I'm thinking about my answer too, because right now, the question that life is living through me is really. So I'm just going to start talking. We'll see where we go.
I guess what I had trouble understanding was how that was a question.
What is the question that life is living through you? In that quote with Viktor Frankl, he talks about that instead of saying, what is the meaning of life? Understand that life is living that question through you. So it's like, how is life really bringing you to those questions that give meaning to your life? How you're answering those questions give you the meaning. I guess I shouldn't put words in your mouth. I think however you're interpreting it in this moment is perfect.
No, I needed more I needed more explanation. This is very good. That helped.
Okay.
So
do you want to begin and muse on it then?
How, so basically, how is life living through me?
In a sense, it is. Yeah.
Life is living through all of us in the way that I guess I kind of from the school that believes that we chose everything of why we're here on some level at some time, maybe even before we came into this life. And that, I've just been following directions from a higher source for so long that is my life. And that's, I guess, how life lives through me, is because I'm doing what I'm called here to do as best I'm able to. And do I always succeed in possibly being the very best I could be? Maybe, probably not. However, I do my best to do that and to follow the directions and to trust. It came up many years ago that as much as I was following all of this, I really didn't trust. And the person who brought a great friend that brought that to my attention was totally right. There was a part of me that still didn't trust. So I ended up on a journey of experiences to really bring that trust to me, to know that somehow everything is for the good, and no matter how it appears on the surface, somehow it is. And the ups and downs help teach us things, help us be better maybe than we were, or understand things, have more compassion for others, all kinds, At the same time, I know that I'm the messages and the projects and the things that have come to me that is mine to do here, and not mine alone, thank God, is why I'm here, and is for the greater good and the way it came through to me was greater good of the all. Well, when I found your group, to me, good of the whole and greater good of the all is pretty much the same thing. So I figured this is probably a sign that maybe I belong here for at least to check it out and see, and if there's a role for me, and how much of a role. And I understand that it's been difficult because I do have the challenges outside of the country that the rest of you don't quite experience. So it's limited things that I could possibly do. No matter how hard I tried to make some of those things happen, they just weren't coming together. And if I've learned anything over the years, when things don't come together, maybe the universe is trying to tell you something, So it is what it is. Hi, Grace. I've missed you too. Very much so.
You know what, Karen, I'm going to jump. It's so good to see your face, Grace. I'm going to jump in because I think what you brought through is also the question that life is living through me right now, which literally is about trust. And I wrote down, do you trust me to live through you for the good of the whole? It's like life is saying, do you trust me to live through you for the good of the whole? And I feel like that has been the question for months now, is as listening to the field and really watching things happen without our control, without my control, and watching all the pieces and parts begin to move. And even like, even in my experience, my personal experience the last month of literally planning the whole, the World Unity Week and having this huge role in World Unity Week, and then leaving for my nephew's wedding, which I was going to officiate, and having my mom die that same day, and then coming back and that being World Unity Week, which took me out of world, it was like, and then it was like life saying, now, do you trust me to live through you for the good of the whole? Yeah, you want to be with World Unity Week. And what if I'm bringing you right back home and right back here and right back with family and right back? And so it was like, seriously, what timing? And it was like life saying, trust me, trust me, trust me. So I am feeling that trust issue too, Karen. I think that's a big question. So there's Grace. So I guess we got our theme for our group going. I'm going to be quiet and I'm complete.
If I can say something to that is, as I was then led through a series of challenges to bring me to the understanding of the trust.
Yeah.
And trust me, it wasn't fun. And you're describing, you know, the challenges that we get, the universe then what came to mind was throws at us to get us to those places is often not the most fun time in our lives, but in the end they become the, you know, some of the best things that could have happened.
That's
I mean,
what Frankel says, is that's where the meaning is made. We're creating life's meaning through those challenges. So
yeah, there you
okay,
go.
we better give you time.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I just bought the book from Connie Moore, The Trust Frequency, this week. So trust is definitely in my face right now. And I just want to share a quick story. So 20 years ago, I was in a spiritual retreat doing journaling. And one of the journal assignments was asking, connect with your future self, your 20-year future self. And that would have been 1999. Connect with, and then connect and ask any questions or, you know, share. And I was hesitant. I'm like, oh yeah, right. You know, whatever. So I did it though. And in the meditation take you, you know, go to a place where you'll be 20 years ago. Well, I come up on this beach home and I knock on the door and my future self opens. And when I open the door, it is me, present moment, had short hair. Well, back 20 years ago, I had long hair. And the first thing I showed my future self was, I cut my hair in the future? Are you freaking kidding me? So I'm like, yeah, you cut your hair and there's a lot of other changes. And she told me, she says, I could tell you the simple way. It was a beautiful beach home. And I walk in and I'm like, I own this place. Like, I own this beach home. And the view is beautiful out in the ocean. And she says, yeah, you own this. And I can tell you how to get here very simply, but you're going to do it the hard way the next 20 years. I'm like, what? Well, you can tell me how to get here now. My ego is just so biting the bit. I can have this easy and you're going to make me do it the hard way. She says, yeah, you're going to do this the hard way. But she says, if you need me for support, always call me and I'll be there. But she says, follow the flow. Mm-hmm. Follow the flow. When you ever get stuck, follow the flow. And that was her only piece of advice. And 20 years later now, 21 years later, me and Michelle are writing Personal Heart Power. And we're talking about the inner sanctuary and using the imagery of a beach home. I didn't connect it until this past week. That came back to me, that long ago memory. I said, oh my God, Michelle, this beach home, and we're talking about the whole heart, like we in here. So the whole heart is when your whole heart, total open personal heart, connected with the whole, connected with a calm mind. And that's personal heart power. When we were describing this beach home in a whole heart status versus the content heart, half-hearted, reactive heart, and disconnected heart, that image came back. She said, I told you, you now have your beach home. And I'm like, oh, all those years ago, it was metaphysical. It was the internal sanctuary. It wasn't, of course, my ego still, I know I have an ego. What? I don't get a physical beach home here? I have all this, I have 8 certifications. I've done all this work. I don't get it. But my soul got it. Oh, because it was so peaceful. It was so peaceful. I had 4 kids, young kids at the time. And I was just, the peace in this home was so, you know, like, oh. So it was trusting her even when she said, you're going to do it the hard way. I can give you the easy way, but you're going to do it the hard way. And I trusted that. And now it's come 20 years later, 21 years. Now I know what she meant, that internal beach home sanctuary that I can take anywhere. So it was that trust in her, though my ego did doubt it, but so I can so what is living through me is that trust, you know, that, like you said, Karen, getting downloads and living it out the best I can through my life and just, you know, waiting for it to manifest and being, I guess, a manifestation, being this vehicle of life manifesting through me.
Beautiful. Wow. look at life manifesting. I mean, the question, we all landed so succinctly in that, in our different expressions, into that question of trust. I love that. Wow. I wouldn't have said that was my answer when we began. And so thank you, Karen, for seeding the field and allowing that to come up, because I never even thought about that, but that really has been a journey, especially over the last few months, yeah. And you know, I'll say something else too, is that literally I was invited to create, Grace, you're my #1 person that's going to take the course for the Global Transition Specialist. You are it, because you told me last October you wanted to do that. You are it. And Ben Bowler invited me to literally launch the Global Transition team. No, wait. During World Unity Week. He invited me to do it during World Unity Week. And so I'm like working really hard to get it going, and pieces aren't falling into place, and I'm struggling. And it's like, I got to get this done because we're launching now on World Unity Week. And then he invited me to have all of Thursday as Wholeness Day, as Unitive Wholeness Day. So we were going to host all of Thursday, and they weren't communicating, they weren't happy. And so in my mind, I'm like, we got to get the Global Transition team going. We got to get the things together for Thursday. And I'm like trying, and I'm forcing, and I'm like working it, because we were invited to do that. None of it was working. And my mother dies that Thursday. That was life saying, trust me, don't put in all that work. This is not the time. And yet I was not listening to life. I was listening to Ben and me and going, yeah, this is perfect, you know? And I was trying to push that forward, just like you're talking about your challenges, Karen, just like you're saying, this isn't my beach house. What? I don't get a beach house. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, here's our opportunity. We're launching it this week. And we have a whole day dedicated to wholeness. And that wasn't the plan. And life knew that plan, where my small mind didn't know it. So, yeah.
If I can add something to that.
Sure.
Yeah, that was when I talked about when things don't come together or fall into place, you know, maybe it's not what you're to do or something like that. Well, what you just described, I had something in my mind and then I forgot. What you just described was, and it was good too. I'm sorry, I had something really good and then now it's just going right out of my mind. So again, maybe
it's okay. It'll come back.
Yeah.
That it's, yeah.
Julie, I can totally relate.
Yeah.
With this book, me and Michelle want to get this book done, and it's not coming like we want. We missed our first deadline, June 1st, and we just sent it to October. And I said, Michelle, we have to let this go. This book is coming at its own pace, its own time. We can't force it. We can't make it.
I know what I was going to say, and that's.
Okay, go, Karen.
Instead of so many of us have been programmed to try to make things happen, instead of allowing them to happen. Yeah. The difference between making things happen and allowing things to happen. That was another thing that came to me many years ago through another friend. That's been a real challenge for me as well, because we are so programmed, a lot of us, to like, yeah, this is great. Let's get this, like you just described, trying to make it happen, and it just wouldn't happen because it wasn't meant to be, at least not right now. And there's always some kind of a reason that we can't see yet in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But trusting that whatever you want to call it, the field, the universe, God knows better, and to be patient. Not patient person. That keeps coming up for me. Be patient. It's coming. I'm like, when? You know, it's been years. How much longer? You know, but knowing that it will, and trusting it will, and not giving up, and letting go. Yeah,
I'm with you on the book thing. I'm interrupting. Sorry, we're not holding that resonance so well, but the book thing, Grace, mine birthed through me, and the experience of my first book, when my mother was alive. I had so many stories in the book that I continue to to edit down because she was alive and I didn't want to hurt her. But the
I know.
stories were very real and palpable, you know, just real pieces. So I continued to edit, released my first book. I don't think she ever read it. I found it in her house when we were cleaning and it was untouched. But the second book, Beautiful Compost, has written itself this month as she's passed. It's like right here, and now I need some space and time to write. So the patience, the trust on that is a lesson. And I scribes, Karen, so I'll be our scribe for us. We are group 4. I don't remember.
Okay, because I wrote stuff down too, so.
Yeah. Thank you. Bless you on your book.
Things better than
Thank
I
you both. Thank you. Love you. Mwah.
love you too. And I wish the time of your call is difficult for me because otherwise I miss it so much. I wish we were back.
Oh,
on.
Karen, that's fine. Yeah, just try. Yeah. Thank you for trying.
Yeah. See you.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we were our own group. Hello, Grace, beautiful Grace.
Kelly, how many groups did we have? 5?
Well, there was 5, and then Jess and I were a group. So
We'll have 6 then.
I protest.
Jess
I
can be.
protest. I wanted to
Oh,
be-
Shelly's the scriber.
Yes, you have to subscribe. We were
I
going.
gotta go back.
I gotta go pee.
Oh, beloveds, welcome back to the main room. What a fun little breakout we had. I'm sure I see your faces that was rejuvenating for many. So let us bring voice to our small groups into the whole here. Who wants to jump in as the scribe and bring in a minute or 2 synopsis of what your group covered?
I just want to say something because Gil was our scribe. We were cut off at the very end when Gil was just, ready to say what the synopsis. So please add that into the synopsis of the 3 of us that we also want to hear.
Well, I guess there we go. Well, I just want to say I was so happy. I actually saw my number 3. I never said, where does this number come from? So we're group 3. I saw it when we went in with pleasure. What was really beautiful out of it is just what my sister, when she went through menopause, called, I feel like I'm moving into my wise woman or wise man phase. And kind of the common thread is we've all had past lives, past careers in this life, and how all of those are informing as we open to it, to what our next gift is. I loved it, that we packed our suitcase so that we can go on this next journey. We've loaded our Rolodex, waiting for it to open at the right page, or just us to see which is the page, because most likely it's always open. And that's true for me as well, that there's just a new coming together of all this rich experience to inform our wisdom, bridging both ancestors, past, present, past lives, this life, and others, to just be the example and live it. And that's one of the greatest things we can do. And to finish it, Julie, again, just to thank you so much, because the question was so right. And for me, it's the sense that inverting from asking what is the meaning, the intellectual, we're moving from the understanding to that embodiment, to that expression. And so that's what I see us all coming together to do.
Beautiful, thank you. Next.
I just want to say, Jess is our scribe. I'm having to leave, go over to the our Connection Field Residence Lounge. Please, all of you, join in after this if you wish, and we'll continue in the living room. Love you all.
Thank you, John. By the way, this call goes for 75 minutes, and we've been toying with going a little longer, but we do have about 17 more minutes to bring all of our groups synopsis in. So,
well, with that, I think I should jump in next. So just to do with this whole questioning, and that life is all a question, and then we were talking about how can we continue to dissolve our limited beliefs and patterns to enter the unified field in a kind of cleaner way. And we also talked about curiosity and the kind of continual flow of questions. And when one question is answered, then the next question appears in a never-ending stream of questions. Oriana talked beautifully about beyond linear language and talking about the concept of non-linear language skills, kind of stuff that she plays with in the Pool of Wonder. And the quality of the questions is one of the things that can evoke the wisdom, and the quality of the questioning is part of the mastery. And also John brought in about the non-linear language being very much to do with the energy of love. And he explained how beyond the patterned self, when he just kind of opens himself up to love, then he feels like the answers are there. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's our group, and I'll pass the crystalline talking stick back.
Nice. Who wants to join next?
This is Sharon. I'll go next. We had group 2, so it was Nahid and myself and David and where'd she go? Our Julie. Thank you.
Julie.
Okay, there you are. Okay. And the theme was pretty consistent of that the question life is asking us is the question life is living through me. What is the question life is living through me? Had to do with just really being present and coming into that home frequency, that heart, living in that place as consistently as we can. And then being in the flow so that we're present to what's required in the moment. And that changes and evolves. But if we're staying in that frequency, we can get those answers in the moment. We can discern what is ours to do or not do, in any given situation. So really that question is how to stay present, how to continue to go deeper in knowing who we are, and just being with that, and then being in the flow of life, living fully.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm going to jump in on behalf of Group 4 after that. Thank you, Sharon. Were you complete?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I had Karen and Grace with me, and we all told stories. It was fascinating. But the thread that moved in kind of follows where your hat is, that it was all about trust. And literally, I crafted a question while I was listening to Karen, which is, do you trust me to live through you for the good of the whole? It was as if life was saying, do you trust me to live through you for the good of the whole? And so we all told stories around that issue of trust and allowing, and even the patience of, as we've looked back, everything makes sense. And then there's that meaning that we were talking about. But when we're not trusting, there's that trying to make things happen and not being in that flow. So it was a really beautiful storytelling time around that trust and really allowing that resonant field to live through us. So with that, I'm complete. We have 2 more groups.
Well, Kate Goodman, we were group 5, and I was honored to be in the presence of Ia and Don. And Don probably would have been our spokesman, but he had to go and listen to a lecture with the Swami at Stanford. And I understand this gentleman is feeding hundreds of thousands of people. So I'm sure we'll have, more great stuff from him. And to answer this question, we too came up with more questions and concluded, well, I'll start at the beginning, that living and embracing life to the fullest and allowing it to become your expression, and open to continuously growing bringing the best attributes forward, and recognizing that we always have a choice in our ability to do that. And so then asking the question, recognizing that we're born totally ignorant, and that we're the end stage of this work in progress, and asking how we use our skills and roles in the greater system, recognizing that we must help everyone else in their skills and roles, because if part of that system, isn't working good, the whole system isn't working good. And, of course, you can't be in circle without Don without reflecting on the fact that our $1.3 trillion budget, 65% goes to weapons of destruction to kill one another, bringing the ultimate question of if humanity, why can't we discover that we're never going to fight our way to peace? And, but, of course, Don's so good about recognizing that we had to compete, and these all of these dogmas that we've got, because we had to compete for scarcity and resources, the things that has programmed into us are these ideas that have caused us to be divided, and that we can ask ourselves better questions. The ultimate good of the whole question: how do we live? How can we work together for the good of the whole? And how can we help one another? And what have we learned? What have we learned about commitments, and how do we bring our skills into the new world? We just kind of realize there's always a question, and we're always trying to be a better version of who we are, and that would be a conclusion of my discussion with the elders.
Thank you, Kate. And lastly, Shelley and Jess. I think that's last.
Jess, you go ahead.
Shelley. What came up for us, for myself, but for us, and Shelley, please add to this after being asked if I could step deeper into love, into the heart resonance. Are you willing? And how? And just by being, and being open and loving and mindful. And just, it's that step when at times it might be seems like the most challenging, in those times where it really pulls. And even in, I've seen it in the field, if someone's hurting. And that's what I really admire about everyone here. And I've experienced that when I was hurting, and watching everyone step in and hold that space and that love and that frequency. And so for myself, and I believe for Shelley, it was, how can you step in more? Thank you.
Wow, that's a beautiful question for all of us to wrap this time together in as well. Beautiful reflections, everyone. Thank you. Whew. We have about 9 minutes, and on our agenda, our itinerary, it always says updates from the field, and we run out of time and don't get there. So I'm really happy that we have a moment to just pause and ask, what do you need for support? Or what's going on in your life that perhaps you want to announce? Is there an activity, a project, or something that you're working on? Or is there just a burning question or desire inside of you? But often we talk about mutual aid and support. Good of the Whole is about that mutual aid and support, that we can lift up each other and support each other and amplify our good works in the world. So with that, we'll just open this to anyone that has anything that you want to drop into the field, or ask of your fellow mentoring stewards. And yeah, anything, please unmute yourself, even if it's just a comment or a question.
I'll go.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Linda.
I'll go. This container, this whole container, has been holding me, and I have been holding it. And just following what's happened this morning, I wanted to say that yesterday is the first time that I've had some deeper conversations with people that I've met in the connection field to put a little more fire into the spark of Pachamama pajamas, because it's something that has come to me, and it will be under the auspices of Good of the Whole, so that whatever happens, it's this project to help children, and it's a teaching tool, and it's giving of our hearts to the next 7 generations, starting with the next one. And that goes back to Good of the Whole. So it's like finding what life is saying, and then acting on it once you feel ready. And it's listening to that field, because this has been in my heart for a good year. And it's just, it's like the time, and it's a fine tuning, listening to the universe that says now. And so this is my now time. And it just feels absolutely right. You can't pick a fruit from a tree and expect it to be ripe and juicy if it's not the right time. So just let it be for you, and keep coming in as a mentoring steward, so that you know, it feeds you, it nourishes you, so that you know when you're ready to take that next big step for the good of the whole. So I just had to put that in there. It just felt right. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And call me today, and let's put in that where that could begin to be nurtured. Yeah.
I just want to add one thing here, that in the flow of this, when you said about a fruit isn't ripe, I have a blueberry bush growing in my yard that we've netted, and there's a catbird that watches that bush every day, and he goes in exactly when the berry is ripe and plucks it out. So how does he know? You know?
I want to bring in something. I wanted to bring in something that's been being communicated inside of the connection field and some of us, and that is, you know, the good of the whole retreat. And usually we have this retreat every year around the end of September, beginning of October. And obviously this year probably isn't going to happen given everything that's happening. But there's been a lot. And then we've talked about, well, what about some of us travel to different places and do it that way? And that's still involving this time of travel and COVID and people, you know, this whole thing. So what just came to me, and in coming to the Mentoring Stewards call, you know, it's deepening, it's ripening right here. But an hour and 15 minutes is never enough time, never, to get really juicy and deep and explore and go into subgroups. And, you know, so what just came to me was just to begin to do a month retreat online. We've done it before as the Advisory Council, now the Executive Leadership Council, but we did it not last year, but the year before, where we just had 3 hours of break and then a couple hours and came together even just for one day. So I just feel like I'm feeling that ripeness, and that where we can really get to know each other. So it seems to me to do a once a month online retreat, not putting pressure on anybody, but out of excitement and wanting to get to know each other more, to do something like that. Maybe it's 2 hours, a break for lunch, and then 2 hours or something. So any feedback around that, not right now, but you know, you can send a message to Julie and I both by putting support@goodofthewhole.org. And you know, the people that were at the retreat last October, it was phenomenal, and nobody has stopped talking about it. And so because there is a quality, yes, of course, coming together physically, but we can plan it for next year. I don't really see it happening. It could happen maybe December, or I don't know. But for right now, like to plan a once a month where we can, you know, I mean, I'd love to go every other week, but all of us are very deep and busy. So let's just say once a month, that we come together for, whatever, 4 hours and see what develops. Because I think this organism that's the question that it's bringing to me right now. It's like, are you willing? Do you want it? Do you want more of me? Do you want more of me through each one of you? So I leave you with that and pass it back to Julie.
Anything else in a minute or so? Anyone else? My dog wants to share something. I don't know what it is, though. I can't understand it today. But anything else?
I do. I know what she wants.
Well, she's not barking like she wants a treat right now. She's doing something different. But yeah, she wants treats. She may want to go outside. Anything else? Look at all those hearts.
Yeah, it's my birthday coming up.
Oh, when, Oriana?
Saturday. And I'm wanting to do like a party or something. It's a little tough in these times, so we're doing a little going out dancing, but
Aww.
a little treat. But it's
Happy birthday Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm turning 70.
Oriana, just that you know, hold on. There's something new in the connection field. It's called Zumbaya. A singer and song circle by the campfire, virtual marshmallow treats or whatever. And maybe we can, if you want to show up that.
I can show up and say happy birthday then?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not virtual
morning fire.
It's, the morning fire too. It's called s'mores, Shelley. It's s'mores. Yeah, virtual s'mores. Yeah.
Virtual love s'mores.
Oh, okay. Love s'mores. We love each other, schmore. Schmore and schmore.
Well, you might have to close us out. Okay. We'll do it. So, Shelley, close us out.
All right. So we came in with a breath. Let's go out with a breath of love out from our hearts to each other right here. I'll just feel that beautiful weaving, this hoop of many hoops, growing and expanding and spiraling us all up. And then we breathe that out to the global heart, out around the planet. Just feel that light and love bringing a great amplification to the field. And we drop in a homeopathic and more dose of our gratitude and love for the field itself that's mentoring us, that's bringing us together, that is the strange attractor for good of the whole in the connection field. We just really, really deeply take a breath with that and feel that in our cellular structure, this aliveness and joy and harmony and peace. And I love what came in today. Just take a breath with presence, this peaceful presencing, this willingness to show up and listen to those questions and be informed by the field what our next action, right action is.
Thank you, Shelley. I'm going to bring John's words in to close us because I said I would when he was doing the attunement at the top. He said, which fits so perfectly with what our journey was today, he said, he used this term, so I just want to say that we're living the wisdom of the master plan. He used that phrase, the wisdom of the master plan. We're living it into being. Thank you all. You are a blessing and you are blessed. So much love to all of you today. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you in the connection field and next week. Mwah.
Bye, everyone. Have a great
week. Bye. Have a good week. Bye.
Who's hosting and supporting the connection field, you're amazing, amazing, amazing. Karen, let's text. I know Mahima needs to be attended to. Love, love, love.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.